So this evening, we're going to be looking at some of the Psalms, or parts of some of the Psalms, some of my favorites. And I pray that you find the same kind of comfort and encouragement in Psalms that I so often do. We'll begin by turning to Psalm 5. And I'm kind of just going in order through some of them. I'm not even hitting all of my favorites in the early part, but kind of getting as far as I think we would be able to cover. Maybe at a later date I'll pick up sort of where I left off and go into some more of the Psalms. But in Psalm 5, in verse 1, "Give ear to my words, O Lord. Consider my meditation. Hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my God, for unto thee will I pray." Here, this is one of those Psalms that is a prayer. And as I say, it's like so often I find in the prayers of the Psalms, and this was a Psalm of David, and in the prayers of David, I find a voice for my own feelings, my own prayers. Verse 3, "My voice shalt thou hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and will look up." In the morning, I always start my morning with prayer. And, I start the morning not necessarily with Psalms, although that's often where I will go to after I have prayed. But I'll pray with my understanding, and I'll pray in the Spirit, speaking in tongues. It's so wonderful to start your day in prayer. To start your day by praying to God and lifting those things that are on your heart, lifting the people in your life, the people that you love, the people in your fellowship, the people in your families. And to also just pray about those things that are on your heart, the needs that you have, or the things that you're just feeling so blessed about. Look at Psalm 17. Psalm 17 is another prayer in Psalms. Verse 1. "Hear the right, O Lord. Attend unto my cry. Give ear unto my prayer that goeth not out of feigned lips." Isn't that kind of cool? Not out of feigned lips, not out of false lips. Our prayers are not ones that we just pray because we're doing it to impress somebody. Our prayers are not ones that are just routine or just done, has some ritual. Our prayers are legitimate. The prayers of our lips are the things that are on our hearts and the things that we want to lift to God, to give to Him. Look at verse 6. "I have called upon thee, for thou wilt hear me, O God. Incline thy ear unto me, and hear my speech." We know that when we pray, God hears our prayers. Sometimes I'll think of an old Joni Mitchell song that I heard probably about the same time I was getting in the Word. And the line in the song is, "I send up my prayers wondering who's there to hear." You remember that line? Well, that's not the case for us. We don't send up our prayers wondering who's there to hear. We know that God hears our prayers, that God is there, and He does hear our prayers, and He does care. Verse 7, "Show thy marvelous loving kindness, O thou that savest by thy right hand them which put their trust in thee from those that rise up against them. Keep me as the apple of the eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings." Keep me as the apple of thy eye. And that's actually, there's an idiom behind that. It's has the pupil of thy eye. You always protect your eye, just naturally protects the pupil. People that try to wear contact lenses have to get past that. They have to get past being able to touch their pupil, most of them, because your eye just wants to automatically close to protect it. Well, God treats us like the pupil of his eye. If anything tries to touch it, he always just keeps it protected, guarded. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings. You know, we've got this mother bird and father bird taking care of these little baby birds out on our porch. And they protect them. The other day it was very windy, and they just kept them very protected. Look at Psalm 18. Psalm 18, verse 1. I will love thee, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my what? Deliverer. My God, my strength, in whom I will trust. What wonderful, vivid words there. These words that express God's protection and that he is our strength, our rock, our fortress. My buckler. A buckler, if you're not already familiar with that, on a shield, there would be that part of a shield with some armies where there's kind of like a pointed part, so that the shield itself was not only a defensive weapon, but also an offensive weapon. That's the buckler of a shield. The horn of my salvation and my high tower. Verse 3. I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. You know, David went through times where people were pursuing him, where he was being chased by the armies of Saul at the beginning of his life, and later at the end of his life by the armies of Absalom. And this is at the time that he was fleeing from Saul. Verse 5, the sorrows of hell, the grave compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me, went before me. In my distress, I called upon the Lord and cried unto my God. In his distress, at that time that David felt distress, at the time when he felt like things were going against him, when he was being pursued, at that time he cried unto God. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. And then you have this wonderful mind picture of how God responds. When you call unto God, when you cry unto God, how God will fight for his people and how he will take care of them. Verse 7, then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken, because he was wroth, he was mad. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also and came down. And darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherub and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. At the brightness that was before him, his thick clouds passed, hailstones and coals of fire. The Lord also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, hailstones and coals of fire. Yea, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them. All such, very vivid imagery of God when his people were threatened, what he would do, how his full power. And God is a powerful God, and that's what this imagery shows us. It shows us that God is a powerful God, that he is a God who will fight, and he will do everything within his power to take care of his people. We'll skip down to verse 28. For thou wilt light my candle. The Lord my God will enlighten my darkness. As for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. For who is God save the Lord, or who is a rock save our God? It is God that girdeth me with strength, and maketh my way perfect. He maketh my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon my high places. And there's a beautiful Eastern idiom in that one. He maketh my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon my high places. A hind refers to that mother deer who would climb the mountains, and as she did so, she'd first test the rocks with her front feet, and then place her hind feet right where her front feet had gone, and her baby would follow, placing its feet in those same places that it saw the mother place theirs. That's how God is with us. He goes before us, and he tests, and we just follow in his steps, knowing that then we are safe. Look at Psalm 25. Psalm 25. Unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. O my God, I trust in thee. We trust in God. We trust in God. We don't trust in the arm of the flesh. We don't trust in our five senses. We don't have to trust in those things. We can trust in God. Let me not be ashamed. Let not mine enemies triumph over me. Yea, let none that wait on thee be ashamed or disappointed. Let them be ashamed which transgress without cause. Show me thy ways, O Lord. Teach me thy paths. Lead me in thy truth and teach me. For thou art the God of my salvation. On thee do I wait all the day. God is the God of our salvation. We wait on him. We wait on him, knowing that he'll never let us be disappointed, knowing that he'll never disappoint us, that he will always come through for us. And that's why we wait on him. Sometimes in life, the temptation is to get anxious, to feel like, when is God going to take care of this? But we wait on him knowing that he will always come through. Where did I leave off?
2.
What verse?
Well, did you finish with 2 and you're at 3?
Okay. Verse 3. Yea, none that wait on thee, yea, let none that wait on thee be ashamed. Let them be ashamed which transgress without cause. Verse 4. Show me thy ways, O Lord. Teach me thy paths. Lead me in thy truth and teach me, for thou art the God of my salvation. Unto thee do I wait all the day. Remember, O Lord, thy tender mercies and thy loving kindness, for they have been ever of old. God's tender mercies and loving kindness, that's what we have. His tender mercies, that he is merciful, a God who, no matter what we do, will always forgive us, will always be merciful, and a God whose loving kindness is unto us. He cares for us as a father who cares deeply for his children. Look at Psalm 27. Psalm 27, verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? God is our light. God is our salvation. Who would we ever fear? Who can ever stand against God? Who's bigger than God? What situation is bigger than God? None. The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? That's who's on our side, God. And think about like what David faced, and yet God came through for him over and over again. Verse 4. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. One thing have I desired, one thing that I will seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. Boy, that's my heart's desire. The thing that I desire is that all the days of my life I would dwell in the house of the Lord, that I can be faithful, that I can continue to just trust in him and dwell in his house. Verse 5. For in the time of trouble, he shall hide me in his pavilion. You know, God will hide us. In the East, they would often, if a person was in trouble, they would go to a city of refuge. They would seek refuge at certain cities and certain places where they would go and hide and know that they were safe. We can do that with God. We can go to his refuge, knowing that he will hide us in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle, his house, he shall hide me. He shall set me upon a rock. God will set us upon a rock. When the floods of life come, we're safe because God has set us upon a rock. Verse 7. Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice. Have mercy also upon me, and answer me. When thou saidst, seek ye my face, my heart said unto thee, thy face, O Lord, will I seek. Isn't that great? God said, seek his face, and my soul responded with, thy face will I seek. I will seek God. I will remember that God is there. I'll remember that God's faithful, that I can trust in him, that I can go to him, and that he will always be there for me. Verse 10. When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. Even if my father and my mother were to forsake me, God would take me up. Even the closest of human relationships can't compare to God, his faithfulness and his ability. He will always be there for us. Verse 11. Teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path because of thine enemies. These are words that we can pray, words that we can speak to God, knowing that just as he cared for David, just as he cared for the other psalmist, that so much more as his children, God will be faithful to take care of us. Verse 13. I love this one. I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Boy, there's so many times in my life I would have fainted. I would have quit. I would have not had the ability to see through a situation unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Verse 14. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Wait on the Lord. And that phrase, we've seen it a number of times, right? Wait on the Lord. Wait on him. And we're not waiting like, well, when's he going to get here? We're waiting, not just thinking that we have to do it on our own. Not thinking that we have to figure everything out by ourselves. We wait on him, and then he will strengthen our heart. Look at Psalm 31. Psalm 31, verse 1. In thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Never let me be ashamed. Deliver me in thy righteousness. Bow down thine ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong rock, for an house of defense to save me. For thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. God is that strong rock, and he will lead us and do what? Guide us. Lead us and guide us. Lead us. Lead us into a safe place. Lead us in the direction that we need to go. Guide us when we're not sure of what direction to take. We're not sure what steps to take in life. God will guide us. Boy, I need that all the time. I need God to guide me. I need God to show me the right way. And he will always be faithful to do that, to lead us and guide us. Look at verse 14. But I trusted in thee, O Lord. I said, thou art my God. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of mine enemies and from them that persecute thee. My times are in thine hands. God takes care of us. Our lives are in his hands. Each and every day, each and every moment. Verse 16. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant. Save me for thy mercy's sake. Verse 19. O how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee, which respect thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of man. How great is thy goodness. Last week Dylan taught about the goodness of God, that God is good. How great is God's goodness. We're never deserving of it, but God's goodness is so great, and he will always take care of us. Look at verse 21. Blessed be the Lord, for he hath showed me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. For I said in my haste, I am cut off from before thine eyes. Nevertheless, thou hearest the voice of my supplication when I cried unto thee. I love that. And you'll find those Psalms where, David shows his humanness. He shows that at times he was wondering where God was. He was feeling like, is God really going to be there for me? Here he says, I said in my haste that I'm cut off before thee, and yet, nonetheless, God heard the voice of his supplications, of his prayers. 23. O love the Lord, all ye his saints, for the Lord preserveth the faithful, and plenteeth rewardeth the proud doer. Be of good courage, verse 24, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord. Be of good courage, and he'll strengthen your heart. God gives us strength. And many times, that's my prayer, that God would strengthen me, that God would give me the strength. And I remember that I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. So much greater, again, is what we have than even what David or the other psalmist had. Because it is Christ that strengthens us. We have Christ within us. We have that great gift of Holy Spirit to guide us, to direct us, and to strengthen us. Look at Psalm 34. Verse 1. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. O magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he heard me,